Hello everyone, today we are going to be making a beautiful love heart bow, and that is to go with my clay that I made myself. I have done a tutorial on this as well, so if you're interested in clay making and you'd like to watch how I made this, I'll pop a link in this corner here now. And when I made her, I had this ribbon in mind, which is why I went for the black and white and the red heart. So this is what we're using today. I've already made my base bow. I have done a separate tutorial for this because I thought it would make it a little bit quicker and easier for you guys in case you didn't want to add the base bow, because these are always optional, but they do give a lovely finish. So I will also pop a link for this base bow tutorial in the corner here as well. Now we're going to set that aside and we're going to make the main bow. You will need 4 pieces in 2 chosen colours or patterns. So I've gone for 2 of the heart print ribbon and 2 in the shimmery black ribbon as well. And I've already pinned mine together. So 4 pieces at 1.5 inch wide or 4 centimetres wide. And you will need to cut all 4 pieces to 32 centimetres in length or around 12.5 inches in length. And as you can see, I've already popped 2 pins in each of the 2 pieces. So I've joined a black and a pattern together, and I've popped the pins in from each end at 11 centimetres. So we've got 11 centimetres in from this end with a pin, and then 11 centimetres in from the other end and popped a pin in, the same on the other 2 pieces. So you are left with 10 centimetres in the middle. And as you can see, my pins have got these round heads. I've popped 1 in from the bottom, 1 in from the top, and then on the other one I've done it the opposite way round. So the one on the left, on this one, the tip of the pin is at the bottom, and on this one the tip of the pin is at the top, and the same on this one the other way round. And that will help you when you are making your bow. So taking this first piece here, we're going to hold it with the pattern facing the correct way up. This is important if you've got a pattern like mine and you need it the correct way up. So I've got my pattern with the bottom facing the correct way up, and I'm going to keep this patterned piece on the top and fold this piece under so that these 2 pins, the pointy parts, meet in the middle. They cross over like that in the middle, and that is why I did the pins in the opposite ways, so I could cross those over like that. And then with the other piece, again, holding it the correct way up, but this time we're doing it the opposite way. So we're going to hold it with the correct way up, and this time we're going to bring this right side up like that, and then these 2 pins will also meet and cross over in the middle. So if I lay this one down, so we've got the 2 pattern pieces on the outsides with the bottom of the pattern facing outwards, and the 2 plain ribbons on the inside coming up from underneath. Picking up this half now, again making sure the pins are crossed over in the middle. Taking this pattern side, you're going to fold that down diagonally, and then taking the plain side, fold that down diagonally. So we've now got a point in the middle where those pins are crossing over, and it looks like this. And then we're going to bring this plain ribbon facing towards us. We're going to bring this side up, and we're going to meet this inner corner to that point in the middle. Just slightly overlap that point in the middle like that. And then this pattern side, instead of bringing it forward, we're going to bring it backwards, and again meeting the 2 inner corners with this point on the underside. So we've got a straight line across the top here, and it looks like this. And then I'm going to grab a clip. I'm going to grab two actually, just to make sure they all stay in place. So they're all pinned in place like that. And now we're going to do the same with the other half, but again, this is the opposite way. So picking it up with those pins crossing over in the middle there. This time, on this one we folded the pattern piece back, but this time the pattern piece is on the left instead of the right. So we're going to fold that piece down towards the right, and then fold this plain piece down towards the left, again forming that point in the middle, so it looks like this. And then this time we're going to bring this plain piece here forward to meet up with that point in the middle, and then this pattern piece folding it back, meeting that inner corner, just making sure they keep lined up, meeting the inner corner again with that point in the middle, so they slightly overlap that center piece like that. Again, grabbing a couple of clips to hold that all in place. So as you can see, they are now symmetrical when we put them together because we made them in the opposite directions. And now we're ready to sew across the raw edges. They'll actually go this way around, so the shimmery piece is at the bottom. And as you can see, our heart's pattern is the correct way up. And then grabbing my needle, threaded with some strong thread and a knot in the end, I'm going to start sewing from right to left because I'm right-handed. We're going to aim for 6 stitches on each half, so 12 altogether. So starting on this first side, I'm going to go in through the top for my first stitch, 2, 3, keeping this pinched with my fingers whilst I move this first clip, 4, 5, and then our 6th stitch is going to go through this pointy part slightly to the right of it. And then we're going to go back in on the left of this pointy part. And that is our 7th stitch. And they're going to keep that pinched whilst I remove the other clip. Eight, 9, 10, 11, 12, 'So it looks like this on the top side. That's the underside. And then I'm just going to remove my pins now. And then pull this pinch in. Once you've got that tight, just go through that last end, through that loop a couple of times to hold that in place. So that is the first half of the bow complete. And then we're going to continue with the same piece of thread with our second half, again working from right to left. So I'm going to go in through the first corner, through the top. I'm not going to pull it all the way because we're joined to the other half. Two, three, keeping it pinched whilst I remove that first clip. Four, five, and this time we're going to come in through the bottom, slightly to the right of that point, catching this corner, and then slightly to the left of the point. To catch the other corner, the 7 stitches. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And now when we pull this tight, that will bring the 2 halves together. Oh, sorry, remove the pins first. And then pull it tight. Bring the 2 halves together, and then the pinch will form. And once you know that that is nice and tight, again go through that last end and then through that loose loop before you pull it tight to form a knot. Now you've got this loose edge, so I'm just going to flip it over to the underside, and I'm going to go in through the opposite half to close that edge in, and then again I'm going to just go through this side, catching the other side directly opposite, and then I'll just do it again a little bit further in, so catching this side and then the other side directly opposite, and that will just close in that center. And then I'm going to go through that loop to form a knot, and then trim off the excess thread. And there you have your top bow made. And now we can attach it to our base bow, and then we can add our clip and our lovely clay topper. So I've got my hot glue gun now warmed up here, and I've pre-lined a clip with some matching black ribbon, and this is a 75mm clip. So first of all we're going to add our bow onto our base bow. So I'm just going to place some glue in the centre of that bow, and then line this one up on the top. So we've got this now, and now I'm going to add my clip. So I'm going to place some glue along the top of my clip and place that on the underside of my bow. And then continuing with some 1 centimetre black ribbon, again to match my bow, I'm going to wrap my centre. You won't see this because I am adding a clay topper, so I'm just going to heat seal that first end, place some glue, and I'm going to start on the top of the bow lining it up across the join, and then I'm going to wrap this around the centre a couple of times, so going under the clip. And I'm going to finish on the bottom under the clip, so I'm going to trim off the excess, heat seal that raw edge, and then glue that down underneath that clip. It's a little bit rucked in the middle, but that won't matter because you won't see it when we add our clay topper. And now I'm going to trim these tails. So from this outer edge, I like to keep the outer edge longer and cut diagonal inwards. You can do a little fancy pattern. You don't have to cut it in a straight line. You can do a little bit of a jagged edge. I'll show you how to do that. So starting from the outer corner, so from the edge of the bow, this outer corner, I'm going to cut rounded towards the centre and then back up and round, so you've got like this sort of a different shape on the end there, and then just heat seal that raw edge. And then you can do the same with this piece but slightly longer, so you've got like an overlap, or you can do it in the opposite direction. So I'm going to do this one in the opposite direction, so from this bottom corner, again, curve and round towards the centre, and then back up and round, and again, let's make that a little bit more rounder. Again, heat sealing the raw edge. And then you get this effect on the tails. It's a really nice little effect. I might actually add a little polymer clay heart in this corner to match my clay topper. So to add my clay topper, because this is quite a big clay topper, I'm going to use a mix of hot glue and super glue. So I've cut off a little rectangle of scrap felt, and I've got my Gorilla super glue gel. So I like to first of all hot glue the piece of felt onto the back of my clay doll. I'm just going to see where it's going to touch the bow, so around the bottom of her hair. So I'm going to hot glue this piece of scrap felt onto her first of all. And then adding some Gorilla super glue gel just to the edges. So I'm going to go for just beside her, on the side of her hair, beside the piece of felt, a little bit at the bottom and a little piece at the top. And then I'm going to apply the hot glue in the middle on that piece of felt, and then apply that to the centre of my bow, and then that way the hot glue will form an immediate bond whilst the super glue takes a moment to set. And now we're going to add a little polymer clay heart just to this bottom corner, and for this I'm just going to use the Gorilla super glue gel. I'm going to apply this just to this little bottom corner here, so I'm going to pop a little bit of glue onto my ribbon in that corner, and then grab my little heart and just pop that in that corner. And there you have your finished hair bow. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and if you press the bell button, that will turn on notifications. Thanks for watching everyone. Bye bye.